David, my dear, is it true that you've been jilted?
Oh, not exactly jilted, Mother. Let's say that that she... Yes, Mother, jilted. Still, that's life.
And this, a Life of Bliss. Being the biography of a bachelor with Diana Churchill, Colin Gordon, Gladys Young, Carlton Hobbs, Sarah Lawson, Denise Breyer, and Percy Edwards. Why so mournful this week? For a translation, over and out with the parental home of that shy young man, David Alexander Bliss, better known to us as George Cole.
Psyche, what's the matter with you today?
She feels sorry for you, dear, and so do we, don't we, Anne?
Naturally.
Oh, why on earth should you feel so... Oh, I see, because I've been jilted?
Obviously.
Well, I don't mind.
Of course you do.
I don't, not a bit.
Don't be silly.
I don't, really.
Nonsense.
But I don't. I say, et tu, Brute? Brute. I know it isn't, but that happens to be a quotation from Et tu, Psyche? Happy now? Yes, and so am I. Completely.
It's no good pretending with us, dear.
But I'm not...
We know you far too well.
It must have been a dreadful shock.
But it was... Oh, now, look, just a second. I liked Jill. Liked her very much. Note that. Liked. We were good friends. Friends, note. But never in love. Not even vaguely. I'll even go further and say that, well, it never quite worked out. So there you are, you see. I obviously don't mind.
That's all right, dear. We understand.
Do you?
Well, of course we do.
No, thank goodness for that.
You'll soon get over it.
Oh, gosh. What can I say?
Well, you don't have to say anything, but I'm sure you'd feel better if you did. It always helps to talk.
It hasn't helped me much so far. No, I feel fine, honestly.
Well, I suppose you could.
Oh, well, at least I'm making some headway.
Just as you can be involved in an accident and feel perfectly all right.
That's how I feel.
At the time.
Then days later, you get a delayed shock.
All right, then, I'll settle for that. But on one condition.
What?
I'm allowed to feel happy while I'm waiting.
You know, I'm beginning to believe you really don't mind.
Oh, I can't tell you how glad I am to hear you say that. I couldn't have held out much longer. It was touch and go.
Well, if that's really the case...
It is, Mother, I promise.
Well, then I think you might have told us before. Anne and I were quite worried for you.
But Well, I'm sorry. It was thoughtless
It's
of me.
all right. Mother's only teasing.
I'd still like to hear all about it. Anne hasn't told me the whole story.
David hasn't told me yet. How did she break it to you, Poppy?
She didn't.
She didn't?
No, not in so many words.
Then I can't think what you're worrying about.
I'm not, remember?
Oh, no, sorry.
I think there were a good many signs.
Such as?
3 phone calls made over the last week or so. Call number 1. Jill was sorry, but she was busy that evening.
Well, perhaps she was.
I doubt it, you know.
Did she sound at all different?
Different? I jolly rang back to make sure it was the right number. Call number 2. Her mother answered the phone and said Jill was out.
But you didn't believe her.
I had my suspicions, and they were hardly allayed by call number 3.
Why? What happened?
Jill answered the phone and said she was out. Now then, what's the consensus of opinion? Is there some slight indication of a certain coolness towards me? Or am I just being super sensitive?
Coolness?
Coolness?
Oh, jolly good. Rejected unanimously. And you know, without being unkind, I'm quite glad. On the other hand, judging from past experience, being without a girlfriend immediately creates a problem.
The problem of finding another?
No, of preventing you and Mother from finding one for me.
Well,
It's most unfair. The thought had never crossed our minds.
not for a second.
What about Sheila Cummings, Anne?
Or Janet Graham?
No, look, perhaps I'm being unreasonable, but I'd much rather choose my own girlfriend.
Don't worry, you're not being unreasonable.
And we wouldn't dream of choosing for you.
Oh, that's all right then.
But you won't find it easy. They're both charming.
Father been out shooting lately?
You're not by any chance changing the subject.
Perish the thought. Has he, Mother?
Well, no, dear. Not since he went out on that big shoot.
When was this?
Oh, didn't I tell you?
No.
Oh, 3 or 4 weeks ago now. There were about 12 of them altogether.
Oh, and how did Father get on? Did he bag himself a brace of partridge?
No, but all the others came back absolutely laden.
Oh, dear.
Poor Father. Was he very disheartened?
Well, naturally. After all, even he realized there were only 2 possible conclusions.
2?
Either he's a bad shot, or the birds bear him a personal grudge.
Why, I can't think why they should. He's never done them any harm.
He couldn't believe it either. So he's compromised and taken up fishing again.
Again? Oh, yes, of course. He was quite keen at one time, wasn't he?
Yes, and I must say I found it rather tedious.
Really? Why?
It's normally said as a joke, but your father never stopped talking about the one that got away.
Honestly?
Literally. But then, to be fair, what else could he talk about?
It wasn't that bad, Mother. He did catch some occasionally.
Yes, but none to speak of, dear. I know they say all fishermen are guilty of exaggeration, but it was different with your father.
Different?
Pure invention. And very successful, too. I suppose people have boasted about bigger fish, but only because they have longer arms.
Right. I don't believe a word of it.
Nor did anybody else. But Father did, or began to. And I'm afraid time's only strengthened the illusion.
Well, in that case, he's in for a big disappointment.
Has been already. He went out the other day, the complete fisherman. Brand new waders, the most expensive tackle money could buy, and a hat that defies description.
Well, that's probably why he didn't catch any fish.
Ah, but he did.
Really?
Yes, one. But I have an idea he wasn't exactly proud of it.
Why?
He didn't come home till dark.
No, who's exaggerating?
Oh, where does he fish, Mother?
That's the problem. There's nowhere really. Oh, good heavens.
What?
I've just remembered. Having no girlfriend may prove to be a problem after all.
Why, suddenly?
Father's got plans for you.
Father?
Worse than that. He's got a plot.
What do you mean?
You know Treelands?
Treelands?
On the way down to the village.
Rather a lovely house lost in its own grounds.
Oh, yes, I know. Why?
It's been taken over by some people called Avery.
When, recently?
Within the last fortnight. I haven't met them myself, but Father's been up there twice already.
Courtesy calls?
Well, that's what he called them.
What did he think?
Of the Averys? Oh, quite pleasant. But it was the place that really impressed him. And it is beautiful, you know. A long drive, trees on either side, magnificent gardens, a private wood.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mother, but is all this leading anywhere?
Oh, yes, dear. The wood leads down to a stream.
Oh, good gracious, now I see the connection.
Well, it's more than I do.
A stream, Poppet.
A quiet little stream, sheltered, undisturbed, a fisherman's paradise. Father'd give anything to be allowed to fish there.
Well, I can't give him permission.
You must have guessed by now, surely,
Guessed what?
that the Averys have a daughter, and you're to be used as bait.
Used as... Perhaps I'm being slow.
Incredibly, dear. He wants to establish a foothold, and if he could bring you and the daughter together, it might be a step in the right direction. Now do you see?
Yes, I'm afraid I do. So that's the plot?
Oh, that's the bare outline. He's gone into details.
You're just pulling my leg.
On the contrary.
Of course you are. I'm sure he could get permission without my help.
Well, he's had no success so far.
And if I know Father, he's hinted strongly enough.
In every way possible. Short of actually appearing in waders, sporting his tackle.
I wonder why he didn't think of that.
He thought of David first.
Oh, nonsense, Mother. He wouldn't dream of making use of me.
He would, you know.
Then he ought to be jolly well...
Ashamed of himself? Not he.
Not they. It's a habit all men have. And you couldn't recognize it in a second.
How?
If they want to make use of you, they always start by making up to you. I always know when Tony wants something.
So do I with Father, the moment he walks in. But then wives are bound to know it runs to pattern.
Creaks.
Understandably. It's all completely mechanical.
From the moment they enter the room, the charming approach,
The affectionate gesture.
a kiss, a hug,
A few little quips.
the point,
You could almost set it to music.
a slow foxtrot.
Meaning?
Glide into the room, advance on your partner with outstretched arms.
Slip one round her waist?
And on with the dance. But why a foxtrot?
Charm, charm, quip, quip, charm.
Oh, circle around and come to the point.
Exactly.
Yes. And that takes us back to Father.
Oh, gosh, I had almost forgotten about that. You may be right, Mother, but I can't see what he can do about it. After all, if he asks me whether I'd like to meet the girl, I shall just say no.
But he won't. He'll ask you to go and fetch his library book.
Go and fetch his...
I told you. It's planned in detail.
Yes, but I don't understand. Well, what on earth is the library?
Sorry, Poppet, but here comes Tony.
Where?
He just passed the window. I've got a feeling we're in for an exhibition dance.
Why? What does he want?
I'm not sure, but I think he's been washing the car. In which case he'll want me to do the inside for him.
Oh, jolly good. It'll be interesting to watch. I might even learn a few steps.
In here, darling.
Oh, hello, Mother. David, old boy.
Hello,
Tony.
dear.
There's my darling little helpmate.
Help me.
A soulmate. Looking, if I may say so, particularly lovely.
Oh, gosh, clear the floor. Yeah, the floor of all this ash.
Ash?
Yeah, but behind my chair. Yeah, there we are.
Oh.
Sorry, on with the dance. Yeah, with the discussion.
Oh, did I interrupt?
No, not really. We were just talking about father.
Did you want anything, darling?
Want anything? Why should I want anything?
I just wondered.
I came in to see you, and having seen how lovely you look, my journey's amply rewarded. Bless your heart.
Oh, good heavens. Charm.
I beg your pardon?
Charming. Charming. What is? The affectionate gesture. Jolly nice to see. Yes, especially when you're married.
Sorry, but I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Well, the way you kissed your partner.
Partner?
You kissed your wife.
Let me introduce you. Your sister Anne, brother David.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Now, perhaps you'll explain.
Well, it is jolly nice to see, especially from a husband.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, what's nice to see?
Well, a little exhibition. Yeah, a little affection.
Can anybody else explain?
He was touched.
Was?
Well, definitely. And that's what I meant. That the married people...
No. I only baffle so far. If you go on, I might get suspicious. Anyway, there's no need to go on. I accept touch.
That's very unkind.
Oh, it's all right. Tony was only quipping. He only...
What have you been doing, dear? Helping father with the garden?
No, as a matter of fact, I've just been cleaning the car.
Oh, have you, darling?
Well, just the outside. And very smart it looks.
I'm sure.
Outside. But of course, there are always two sides to everything.
Is that a hint?
Oh, what an idea. It's amazing, though, what you can do with a spot of polish. It looks different already.
Outside?
Circle around and come to the... Come to think of it, I might as well go and clean mine.
You haven't got your car down here.
I say, that's a relief. Gives me an excuse for not doing it.
Would you like me to come and do the inside for you, Tony?
The inside of what? Oh, the car.
I'll be out in a second.
Oh, that is sweet of you. Well, I hope you didn't think that I was...
Oh, not for a moment.
Bless you. You're a wonderful little helpmate. If I had my time over again, I'd still marry you.
Still?
No, even knowing what I know now.
Meaning?
Brother David, and that's really knowing the worst. I'm sorry, boy, I'm only pulling your leg. See you later, Ma. See you out there, darling.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but I couldn't resist it.
Never mind, he's happy enough now.
It's father you've got to worry about, not Tony.
Well, he's not as serious as... Just a second. You're forgetting something.
What's that?
I've already seen father, and he never even mentioned the girl.
Well, of course not. He's biding his time.
Honestly, it all sounds pretty far-fetched. Are you sure you aren't pulling my leg?
How did father sound? Pleased to see you?
Oh, yes.
Particularly pleased?
Well, he seemed to be.
An effusive greeting?
As a matter of fact, it was.
A slap on the back?
Well, yes.
A fatherly arm on your shoulder?
Good gracious, however did you guess?
We didn't guess.
It runs to a pattern.
To a pattern? Well, it sounds like one of those awful crossword clues. Oh, dear.
Thought of the answer?
Yes. Father's got one across.
Convinced now?
Yes, and a bit surprised. After all, as far as he's concerned, I'm still going out with Jill. I mean, it's rather a... Well, it's...
Yes, I know it is, dear, but, well, how can I put it? Well, the flaws in a photograph can be removed by touching up the negative. Men have the same mental facility for removing any trace of conscience, only they work in reverse.
How do you mean?
Well, they view the situation through the narrow lens of self-interest and then adjust everything else to their picture.
Well, I couldn't have put it better myself. Yeah, but how does it apply to me?
Father pictures you with Maxine Avery, so he's adjusted his view of Jill.
And what's his view of her now?
Distant. You're not serious, she's not right, and he's not keen. Full steam ahead with his plans. The conscience is clear.
Yes, and the problem pretty clear, too. Yeah, what's she like, by the way?
Maxine Avery? I've never set eyes on her. But I know what sort of picture you'll get from father.
Glowing.
To say the least of it.
A goddess of beauty.
A poetess of grace.
A dream-like figure.
Well, if he's going to give her that sort of build-up, she's bound to fall flat.
That could have been better timed.
Why?
You were in a built-up area.
How do you mean?
Never mind.
Honestly, I only wish father were a better shot.
I'm sorry, dear. I don't follow.
If he'd bagged himself a brace of partridge, he'd never have gone back to fishing, and I wouldn't be the victim of this plot. There doesn't seem to be any answer to it.
Ah, but there is. A counterplot.
No, I don't follow.
I gather you haven't told him about Jill.
Well, not about being jilted, no.
Then don't. You're in love with her. And if he waxes enthusiastic about Maxine, wax enthusiastic about Jill.
I say, that's an idea.
Yes, but that's only part of it. In the normal course of events, she'd have been coming down here today, wouldn't she?
Oh, yes.
She still is. You're expecting her to ring at any moment to say when she'll arrive. See my point?
Definitely. I've got to wait here for the call, so I can't be sent to Treelands.
Just precisely.
Well, that reminds me, what was all that about a library book?
That's what you're going to be asked to fetch. Father happened to leave it behind last time he was there.
In other words, it was planted.
You don't mean he actually went to all the trouble of leaving a book there so that he could send
That's
me...
exactly what I mean.
Good gracious.
Why so surprised? Men prefer the devious route.
Hence the foxtrot.
And in Father's case, you might be forgiven for stressing the first syllable.
Stressing the first... Oh, tally-ho. And quite untrue.
What about the planted library book?
Well, he's a jolly nice old fox. Sorry, only joking. I must say it's a jolly good counterplot.
Now, do you think you can remember it?
Every detail. Expecting Jill, expecting a call. Wax for Wax, Jill for Maxine.
Sorry, dear.
Enthusiastic.
Oh, I see.
Not a word about being jilted. Let me think. Is there anything else?
Shh. I believe I heard.
Ah, here you are, David, my boy.
Oh, tally-ho, Father.
Tally-ho?
Oh, getting in the country spirit.
Did you want me, dear?
No, David, actually.
Me?
I wondered if you'd do me a favor.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Fox, but I'm afraid... Terribly sorry, Father, but I'm afraid I can't.
Can't what?
Go and fetch your plant. Fetch your library plant. Book.
Now, how would you know about that?
Well, I told him, dear. I knew you were hoping somebody would collect it for you.
Yes, I'd have gone like a shot, only I've got to wait in for a call.
Oh, is it that important?
Well, yes, pretty important. I'm expecting to be jilted. Expecting Jill.
Oh, I see.
Excuse me, won't you, Father, but I promised Tony I'd help him with the car.
Oh, could you do with an extra hand?
I'd like to have a chat with you.
Oh, all right. I'll be out as soon as I can.
Yes, all right.
Now, tell me, are you serious about her?
What? About Jill? Oh, very. I was just saying so, wasn't I, Mother?
Yes, you were.
I can't imagine why. Seems pretty wooden to me.
Oh, nonsense, Father. She's absolutely waxen. Yeah, absolutely wonderful.
No, you were right the first time.
Well, that's for David to say, surely.
He did say it. Look, my dear, I don't want to put you to a lot of trouble, but do you think you could pack me up a few sandwiches?
That wouldn't be an excuse to get rid of me.
Well, now, why should I want to get rid of you? No, there's nothing I can say to David that you couldn't hear.
Yes, but I'd hear much better if Mother were here. Feel much better. I don't mind her staying a bit.
I'm going fishing, and I want to take some sandwiches.
Sorry.
All right, then. But don't you let Father bully you.
No, don't worry, I won't.
What kind would you like, dear?
Oh, what can you offer?
Fish paste?
No, for the love of Mike.
Ham?
Fine.
They won't take me long. But remember what I said, David?
Every detail.
Detail of what?
The counterplot. The counterplot of land, pretty valuable round here, isn't it?
Why, thinking of buying one?
No, just interested.
Look, I don't know what your mother's been saying.
Nothing.
I don't want to know either. But now your father wants a word. Sit yourself down, my boy.
Oh, thanks.
Now then, about your girlfriend.
Which one, Father?
Why, how many are there?
2.
2?
Wax and Wax. Jack and Jill. Jill and,
Maxine? Suppose you didn't hear that from your mother?
Well, yes, she did mention her.
I'm glad she did. Saves me the trouble. Now, there's a girl.
Well, Maxine's girl.
Yes, and what a girl.
Oh, what about Jill? She's a girl.
That's about all you can say for her.
Oh, no, that's not fair. She's quite a nice... She's magnificent.
Look, it's not often I interfere. You know that.
Yes, Father.
And it's none of my business now, but shall I give you the facts as I see them?
Well, yes.
I can't believe you're serious. Don't think she's right for you. And I can't say I'm keen.
Full steam ahead with your... full steam ahead as far as I'm concerned.
Well, what the dickens is that supposed to mean? That you're in love with her?
Well, it could.
Oh, well, suppose you know best. But I'm sure you're making a mistake. And so would you be if you'd seen the Avery girl. Vital personality, pretty as a picture, the ultimate in shapes. I mean it, magnificent figure. Striking red hair, fascinating eyes, lovely complexion, a dream of a girl.
A goddess of beauty.
A girl in a million.
A poetess of grace.
trying to pull my leg?
Oh, no.
Well, how the devil do you know what she's like?
Well, I told you, Mother mentioned her.
Well, how does she know? She's never seen her.
Well, from your description, I suppose.
She didn't get goddess and poetess from me. Couldn't by any chance have been sarcasm?
No, of course not. She was jolly nice about her.
Why, what did she say?
She must be rather extraordinary because of her enormous build.
Who said she was enormous?
I did. Not that I know. I mean...
Oh, for heaven's sake, you better go and give Tony a hand with the car.
I'm sorry, Father.
No, it doesn't matter.
When you are fishing? More or less now?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'll see you when you get back. Cheerio, Father. Hope you catch an enormous girl.
Now, listen, I had just about...
Mistake. Sorry. Goodbye.
Oh, good heavens, no peace in this confounded... Yes?
Oh, hello. This is Jill Leslie.
Oh.
Is David there?
Hold on a second. David? Hello? David? Where is everybody? Hello?
Yes?
Look, he's outside. Can I take a message? I know he's expecting you.
Expecting me?
You're coming down this afternoon, aren't you?
Well, no.
You're not?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Father. I was halfway to the...
Jill Leslie.
Jill Leslie?
Your girlfriend, remember?
Oh, yes, of course. Hello, Jill.
Oh, hello, David. I felt I simply had to ring up and say sorry for, well, behaving as I did.
Well, that's all right.
I know I should have told you, but I didn't know how to start, what to say. But I have now. I've written to you a long letter explaining why, trying to explain why...
I was jilted?
Not exactly jilted, David. Let's say that that is, that we...
Jilted?
Well, were you very upset?
Oh, we were always jolly good friends, Jill, but I think perhaps it's for the best.
I'm glad. Makes me feel better. Bye, David.
Goodbye, Jill.
Jilted?
Oh, gosh, you're still here, Father.
Yes. I was waiting for an explanation. I didn't mean to overhear. But now you've got quite a few things to explain. You weren't expecting a call. She wasn't coming down. You're not serious about her. You never were. I think that's about the lot.
Well, I think that's about my lot. No, I mean...
I'll give you an alternative.
Alternative?
Strike a bargain. I want one of two things. My library book or a full explanation. Up to you to choose.
See you when I get back, Father.
Believe me, you've made the right choice. Sorry I blew up, my boy.
No, don't be silly.
And by the way, you may as well know I've got a personal interest in your success this time.
What, with Maxine?
Yes. Quiet little stream in the woods there. Fisherman's paradise.
Well, I'll try not to let you down.
I'm sure she won't let me down.
Who?
The Avery girl. She's everything I said and more. Off you go.
Yes, all right.
Oh, and David.
Yes?
That's no fisherman's tale.
Oh, lovely afternoon.
It's wonderful. It is jolly nice of you to walk along with me, Tony.
Oh, my dear chap. Wanted to get some cigarettes from the village anyway.
Where's Psyche got to? Psyche! Come on.
Not far now. Look, that's Treelands there, the big gates. And therein lies your future.
And Father's fishing. You know, it's intriguing in a way.
What way?
Well, is Father exaggerating, or is she all he says? It needn't be either, really.
Sorry, old boy, I'm not with you.
Well, she may not be worthy of a build-up, but it may have built up in Father's imagination. After all, he may be describing her, but what he's visualizing is a great big salmon.
Oh? Well, it doesn't all go very well.
Why?
Well, think of a salmon. Beady little eyes, horrible oily skin, cold as a fish. Not that that would worry you, but you get the general idea.
Yes, and in a horrible picture.
Oh, come on, cheer up. He may not have been thinking of a salmon.
Well, let's hope not.
Might have been a trout.
Is that better?
Worse, if anything. Well, here you are. Goodbye. Good luck, old boy.
Thanks. Come on, Psyche.
Hear all your news when you get back. I'd like to know the answer myself. Cheerio, old boy.
Cheerio. Psyche, come here. Psyche, will you come here?
Hello there.
Oh, good gracious.
And who are you, eh?
Oh, I'm most terribly sorry.
Well, hello. That your little dog?
Yes,
What's her name?
Maxine.
Oh, same as mine.
Oh, no. Maxine's not your name. Psyche's not your name.
Her name's Psyche and mine's Maxine, right?
Yes.
And yours?
David. David Bliss.
Oh, yes, of course. I've heard all about you from your father.
And I've heard all about you. And believe me, he didn't exaggerate. Not a bit. You're everything he said you were.
I'm dying to know what he said.
A lot.
Really?
Oh, good gracious, yes. I've never seen such an enormous build.
Me?
No, Father.
Well, he's not that big.
Let's start again.
All right, where from?
Father's description. And how right it was. Pretty as a picture.
Well, thank you.
Well, that's nothing. You wait. Vital personality. Magnificent figure. Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
Why, what's wrong with that?
Not a thing. No, I mean, where was I?
Magnificent figure.
Striking red hair. Beady little eyes.
Are they?
Oh, dear, I can't think why I said that.
Neither can I.
But it certainly isn't true. They're absolutely beautiful. And your complexion, too. Absolutely oily.
Oily?
Oh, dear. Honestly, this sort of thing always happens to me.
Well, it doesn't happen to me. And you know, it makes quite a pleasant change.
Does it?
Yes, really.
No, but seriously, what I'm trying to say is,
What?
you're a dream of a trout. Oh, God.
Well, I've had enough of a change for now. Come on. Let's walk up to the house through the woods. Oh, by the way, I persuaded Daddy to take up fishing, and he wants lots of advice from your father.
Oh, gosh, that's wonderful.
Do you know anything about it?
Well, not about fishing, no. But I know what Father uses for bait.
Do you?
Yes, I do. And shall I tell you something?
What?
I'm happy in my work.
That was A Life of Bliss. The artists taking part were David Bliss, George Cole, Anne Fellows, Diana Churchill, Tony Fellows, Colin Gordon, Psyche the dog, Percy Edwards, Mrs. Bliss, Gladys Young, Mr. Bliss, Carlton Hobbs, Maxine Avery, Sarah Lawson, Jill Leslie, Denise Brower. This BBC program was written by Geoffrey Harrison and produced by Leslie Bridgemont.